There's an alarming amount of animals in shelters in the United States. According to American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, 6.5 million animals enter a shelter every year in the United States alone. Of the 6.5 million, 3.3 million of them are dogs. With the overwhelming amount of animals in shelters, they are unable to get the love and attention that they deserve. It could be up to our generation and younger generations to change this for the future. And who doesn't love dogs? I feel I am a reliable source on this topic because it is something I'm extremely passionate about, and I've done extensive research on adopting dogs. I'm sure you have all heard the phrase adopt don't shop, meaning adopt your new animal from a rescue or a shelter compared to buying from a pet store or a breeder. Although this goes for all animals who deserve to be loved, today I will specifically be talking about adopting from shelters or rescue centers. Going into my speech, first I will talk about saving a dog's life. Second, an extremely common myth about adopting. And third, fostering. To start, one reason to adopt and not shop is you are saving a life and providing a loving home for your new furry friend. Many people will argue, well, every dog deserves to be loved, which is 100% true. However, over 1,000 dogs are being enthused every single day in shelters. And this is something that breeders and pet stores do not face. That being said, 670,000 dogs are enthused every year at animal shelters, and that's according to animalsheltering.org. That's 55,833 dogs every month. This includes a lot of dogs that are unfortunately very healthy or had a treatable health condition. This loops back to my statement about being an alarming amount of dogs in shelters. Since there are so many dogs being surrendered, some of these shelters or rescues have no other choice but to put the dog down. One example of saving a dog's life is my stepsister. She rescued her now 4-year-old dog Luna from a rescue called Spot's Last Stop. Luna, her siblings, and her mom were found in a trash bag on the side of a busy highway. If it wasn't for Spot's Last Stop, her litter and her mom would have died. And if it wasn't for my stepsister, we don't know where Luna would be today. My stepsister was able to save Luna's life and provide her with a happy, loving home. Along with saving a life, there are unfortunately so many myths about adopting from rescues or shelters. People argue, well, they never know what they're going to get, or they'll have major health issues. However, shelter dogs are sometimes actually healthier than purebreds, according to instituteofcaninebiology.org. And shelters usually have a general idea of what kind of breed is coming into their facility. Most common myth is shelter dogs have more health issues. According to petcentral.chewy.com, animals are usually quarantined when they first get to the shelter or rescue. In case they do have something that could spread to other dogs, they are completely vetted before being exposed to other dogs. Along with this, when dogs first come to the shelter, they are cared for right away, whether it be shots, spaying or neutering, or just other medical issues that may need to be attended to. Rescue centers and shelters take care of their animals before even putting them up for adoption. So these rescue centers and shelters are taking every precaution before putting them with other dogs and putting them up for adoption. Along with common myths, individuals are able to foster if they are unable to fully adopt a dog. This helps free up space in overcrowded shelters and rescues. People may argue that fostering could take months, or what if it becomes expensive? However, there are rescues that actually help with fostering. So that would be providing the supplies that you need to foster a dog and even paying for vet trips, whether that be an emergency vet trip or your typical everyday vet trip. And the average time a dog is adopted is 2 weeks. Again, fostering is usually temporary unless you fall in love with your dog and end up keeping the first one, something I would do. But ultimately, the goal of fostering is to stop rescues and shelters from being overcrowded. It's usually a rescue organization that does provide the fostering. According to nycsecondchance.org, foster dogs are actually more likely to be adopted because they aren't stressed out from being in an overcrowded shelter. And they're able to show their true personality in a home setting compared to a shelter. Not only are you showing them the love that they could potentially have or that they deserve, you are helping them get adopted faster than in a shelter. To conclude, there are so many benefits to adopting a dog compared to buying from a pet store or a breeder. 3 of them being saving a life, healthier animal, and fostering. When thinking of adding a new addition to your family, please consider adopting from a rescue or a shelter first, because you never know the impact that you may have on adopting compared to shopping.